Hello ladies and gentlemen and potential Let's Players, and what I thought I would do today is tell you how I record my gameplay footage for 1080p and 60 FPS, the software I use, how I go about it, because literally handfuls of people have asked. Now this here in the background is not the software I use. I've only started using this, and this is just to record this video. It's called OBS. Maybe I'll talk about it, but what I'm going to talk about is GeForce Experience and Shadowplay, which is what I use to record my gameplay footage. That and some audio software. I'm going to include links to everything in the description, but Shadowplay is free software. You can use it if you have an NVIDIA graphics card. The first thing you need to do is get that software if you've got the graphics card that supports it. Now, here's where I might differ to, say, another tutorial, because in summer, they released version 3 of their software, GeForce Experience and Shadowplay, which changed quite a few things. One of those was an automatic required login. You have to log in, and I've got enough accounts. I didn't want to make another. I also didn't like the user interface for version 3, changed some of the names, so I've stuck with this version, the last good version 2, which is 2.11.4.0. I'm going to include this link, but if you want to use this version like I do, perhaps you don't want to give them your details and have another login because you've got countless others, or maybe you don't like the layout. I would describe it as more modern, removing functionality for like cleanliness, which is kind of like the new YouTube layout. I hate all these new layouts, so I still use the old one. I'll show you how to do it. You're gonna have to download it. Now I'll include this link, so you go on free download. You're just getting the exe, so that's what you want. We'll save that. Now I already have it installed. If you do use the new version instead of this one, you will automatically download that probably with your graphics card when you get the drivers. And a lot of what I say here will apply to that. You'll just have to do the login, and the layout will be slightly different, maybe some of the names. It's also got a few new features, which I will talk about when I show you how to record the audio for this. So we've got that. I've already installed it though, so I'm not going to install it. What I am going to do is open it. And here comes the first problem when you're using the old one. Do you want this app to make changes to your device? No. And that is why I say no, is because it's trying to install the new GeForce Experience. How do we stop that, you might ask? Well, go to your C drive or equivalent, program data, go all the way down to NVIDIA Corporation, and we go on the GeForce Experience, update, and you see this little file here, this application. This just seems to be to update the GeForce Experience, which we don't want to happen. So just rename it. I just rename it to stop. Now that should stop it updating when I try to open it. So let's try that again. The other problem with it, version 3, is it didn't really work very well at all at the start. Kept breaking. A lot of the features weren't working. So yeah, I just used this one. I guess I'm kind of stuck in my ways a bit, but I prefer this one. I like the layout. And why I use this over other software, one, it's free, and the file size and quality are quite good. The file size is quite low because my internet's terrible, and the quality is relatively good. Not lossless, but I will show you now Shadowplay. So we turn it on here. Just take a while, like everything does on my crappy system. Right, it should be on now. As you can see down there, it's added a little icon. When you record, a little green dot will pop up showing it's working. Now that won't show up on your videos. of course, because that would be very obnoxious. You can also turn that off as well. So let's talk about this screen first before I show you the settings. What I do, and another reason I like Shadowplay, in fact, is the shadow time system. Now, if you're the kind of person who wants to make videos that are, say, compilations or funny montages, LOL, or, I don't know, kill streaks or something, and maybe you forgot to record, but you've got your Shadowplay open, you can set this to record in the past. I've got it on 5 minutes, but you can go all the way up to 20 minutes. As you can see, the file size is larger when you go up to 20 minutes. And that will just record the last 20 minutes, or as I've got it on, the last 5 minutes of footage. So, say something cool happens, but you're not recording, you can go back in time and record it. It's a very cool feature. I believe that's on the new one as well, but it's probably called something else. What we've also got here is the audio settings. Now, the problem, and I think they've only just changed it on the latest version after such an amount of time, is that the game audio and the microphone audio for Shadowplay all record on one track, which has always been a problem. People have been complaining about that for ages, getting them, please change it, but I think they've only just got round to it. So maybe it might be worth checking out now because it's got that feature. But I will show you what I do instead of that. What I do is turn in-game and microphone on, but I add a push to talk feature, which I'll show you in a second. Also custom quality. I'll go on my custom quality. I've got it at 1080p to record in and 60 frames per second. The bitrate is quite important as well. Basically, this is the quality will come out as a low bitrate. It's going to be much less good quality. It's going to be poor quality. I have recently updated my internet, so I've put it up to 40 now. 40,000 that is. And it was on 30, so depending on your bandwidth, your space on your hard drive, I would put it up to maybe 50. The thing is, when you render it in whatever software you use, either Sony Vegas or Adobe Premiere, whatever, that's gonna ruin the bitrate a bit anyway, and then YouTube is further gonna squash it down to less good quality. So yeah, you want to start it off maybe as high as you can go, but as I said, it's going to be crushed down by YouTube anyway, so I think they're recommended. I don't know about recording, but rendering is really low. It's like 10 or something, 10,000, so just practice with that anyway. But yeah, you want to try and go for 60 frames per second and 1080p. I don't think anyone's watching in 4K, are they? But that is another thing that you can do on version 3. You can up the bitrate to stupid amounts, I think, and you can do resolutions. It might let me do 4K if I had the monitor for it, but I don't. Anyway, let's go to the settings now. So this is where we can turn little things on. If I had a camera, I could turn the indicator on and I could record with that. I've got desktop capture on because some games, especially a lot of the crappy indie games I play, they do not let you record game capture. It doesn't record game capture, it records it as desktop capture, so I always have that turned on when I'm recording games. I've got my microphone on push to talk. Right, what that means is I've got a little button down here, mine's semicolon. When I press that, that's when it will record the microphone, if I'm recording currently, which I'm not, because the indicator's not showing. So yeah, basically I've got the push to talk one, and I'll show you how I record the audio. But first, we'll just look at these. You can put an FPS counter on, you can turn that on. I might do that while I'm recording the gameplay footage, actually. I'm going to use Dark Souls 2, because while I'm recording this in OBS, I'm going to record the gameplay in Shadowplay like I usually do. So yeah, let's turn that on actually and put it in the top right. Now that should come on. Nope, that turned it off, I'm an idiot. And that should come on when the game's on. We'll see though. And you'll see how terrible my computer is. What else we've got here is we've got more shortcuts. Alt F10, that is that shadow time feature. at recording in the past, that's automatically set to Alt F10. This is just to start your recording, and I've changed that to, what are they, brackets, square brackets? I don't even know. This is also quite important. This is where you set where you want to save your video capture files. It's best if you've got 2 hard drives, so you've got an SSD with your games on, be best to save it in a different hard drive. Maybe like you've got a standard hard drive, not an SSD, with loads of memory. Save your footage there, but this is where all the files will go. And that's really it. See, it's quite simplistic, very easy to use. And now you might be thinking, how do you record audio then? Because that sounds horrible, recording the audio if they're both on the same track. And yes, it would be, so you need different software, but luckily that is also free, and I will show you what I do. So we've got the NVIDIA GeForce Experience. What I use to record audio is Audacity. The lovely description there of what Audacity means, thanks. That's not what I want. I could get it from SourceForge, but I might as well get it from the official website. You go on here, choose your version, Windows, or well, you could do it on Mac, but I'm pretty sure you won't be able to do Shadowplay on Mac. So we download that. I've already got it, obviously. You know how to download things. If you don't know how to download things, then you probably shouldn't be recording gameplay footage, because you clearly are brain dead. So yeah, download that as you would. You can get rid of that now. And let's open Audacity. So here we are in Audacity. Free software, free audio recording software. I always change that to match, that's the hertz it records in. I change that to max what it is in my recording settings here, which is 48 hertz, 48,000. So just always change that. I don't know if you can auto change that, you probably can. And then to record the audio, you just click record, which is what I'm going to do now. First, maybe you want to change your volume for your microphone, and if your mic hasn't popped up, you want to click it in there. Mine's the Samsung Meteor, so it's already there, plugged in, and ready to go. So let's click record. Now, as you can see, there is my voice, blah blah blah. You can also edit in this program. This is usually where I edit all my audio. Maybe do a bit in my movie studios, which is kind of like a knockoff Sony Vegas. But this is where I record all my audio, but I will show you. Let's stop that, because I want a blank track for it. Okay, let's go again. Right, now I'll show you how I sync my audio and my gameplay, because that is very important. With OBS, you don't have to do that, because they sync together, they start together. But when you're recording a game, when you have to do it in push to talk like this, when they're on separate tracks, you have to sync your audio. Right, and what do I mean by that? Well, I will start the recording here, and then I will go on to the gameplay. Okay, here we are in Dark Souls 2. Now, normally I wouldn't start my videos at this point with the gameplay. I'd probably start on the menu screen so I could do a little intro and stuff like that for my first impressions video. But I thought, well, that shot the frame rate down, didn't it? But I thought I would just do it from the game here so I can show a bit of gameplay as well. Right, at the moment it's not recording, it's recording in OBS. You possibly can see the little indicator in the bottom because I'm recording in OBS. I hope that's what's going to happen. But what I'm going to do is press my recording button. The audio is still recording in Audacity in the background, but I want to press my record on here so I know the gameplay footage has started. Right, so the gameplay is now recording in Shadowplay. What I want to do now is hold my sync button, my audio push to talk button, so Shadowplay will start recording my mic, and I want to create some kind of mark or pulse to sync the audio. I do 3 knocks, you can do like a yell or something. Basically you want it to show up in the Shadowplay recording and in your Audacity recording so you can match them up. So I'm going to hold the button now. and do 3 knocks, and then I let go of the push to talk audio recording because I just want Audacity now. And this is where I now start my gameplay footage. I will show you how to sync them up. You have to do it in your whatever software you use to render videos. But I use Movie Studio Platinum because it's cheap. We'll just try and find some enemies. You can see a bit of the footage, how I record it. You can check out my videos for this anyway. No, I don't want to begin Journey 2. As you can see, I've completed this game now. Here's some enemies, right. We'll go to the Cathedral of the Blue for a bit. And then I'll show you to match up the syncs. But with this Shadowplay version 3, chances are you don't have to do that anymore. I don't know, because you can put the audio, the game audio, and the microphone audio on different tracks. I don't know how well it works. This way is fairly easy, as you've seen. And I don't know if I'm going to move. I might move to OBS. I'll see how, now I've got this faster internet, I'll see how good the quality is comparatively and how big the file sizes turn out. But you'll see when I upload the footage, it looks pretty good. It's not lossless, obviously, and it could be better if I up the bitrate. But it is not bad, and it gets better as you up the bitrate, obviously. Pick up that. And it also runs quite well. You can see the frame rate. A lot of the frame drops will be due to just my system. I've got a very old system. It's not particularly good. I want to update, but if I updated, can't believe that didn't kill him. I would probably up the bitrate of my recordings. Now I've got good internet. As I say, YouTube will still crush down the quality, but you still want to, the first recording, you want to look as good as it can be. So that means high bitrate. And maybe you could even do it in 4K if you wanted to, and then downscale it. But honestly, who's watching in 4K? I don't think many people have that kind of internet. And, I mean, gameplay slightly different, I would guess. Gameplay and, like, movie reviews. Because you want that to be in good quality. But most videos, you don't even need to... Like, I watch most stuff in 480p, honestly. Gameplay maybe not, because you want the game to look good. But I still don't think I'd be watching it 4K. Not insane. Not many people have 4K monitors either, so... But it's personal choice. If you've got the tech to do it, and the internet speed to do it, then, well, you might as well, I guess. Just bear in mind that maybe a lot of people won't watch it. It'll also take a lot longer to render in your software. And the file size, obviously, will be massive. That's why the internet speed needs to be good. Anyway, I think you've seen enough of this. I'll show you how to sync up the audio and video in my software. Okay, so I'm going to stop the recording here. What you want to do is delete any extended time while you're quitting the game. All I need is the pulses, really, to match up. Okay, there's my pulses. Right, we'll delete up to there. We'll delete this bit. Okay, so I've just got my pulses and I've got that little start bit of dialogue. You might wonder why I've got all this blank space for the recording. Well, I've left this because this is the background noise. If we play it, you can see up there, there's a bit of noise going on. I want to get rid of that. Just like the hum of my computer, maybe a few clicks, quiet clicks and things like that. So we want to get rid of that. So what you do is you highlight this area of background noise. You go on noise reduction. These are the settings I use. Might vary depending on how loud your noise is, your background noise. You go get noise profile. Then you select the whole thing by clicking that or clicking Control A. That's all the audio. you're going to affect repeat noise reduction. And what that does is remove the background noise. That should show you here. Here you go. We got no. That's just a mouse click there. What I do is I will edit them individually, but I won't do anything with this bit because it's not before it's before my pulses. Right, and then I save this and I'll put it in my rendering software. See you in a second. Okay, I've now added my 2 files. That's my audio, which I exported as a WAV, and that's my Shadowplay video footage. I've exported them into Movie Studio Platinum 12, which is the software I use to render my videos. Now, this is like Sony Vegas, but the really cheap version. Sony Vegas, way out of my price range, as is Adobe Premiere, which a lot of people use. Anyway, let's add this. This does most of the things Sony Vegas does, but it's just so much cheaper. And yeah, all my needs are covered with this software, basically. So that's the video footage has gone in. I'll put this underneath. This is the audio. You might already be able to see what we do here. I usually extend this track out a bit so it's easier to see. So we click on here, they're kind of matched up already. These are my 3 syncs that I made earlier, my sync pulses. Don't have to get them exactly spot on, but I'm pretty anal about this, so I like to get them almost exactly spot on. The more you zoom in, the easier it is. Right, that looks pretty good. Let's just go to here, check that as well. Yep, that'll do. Right, if I just play it, you should hear the syncs match up. And do 3 knocks, and then I let go of the push to talk audio recording because I just want Audacity now. There you go. So that's my gameplay audio and video synced up with my Audacity microphone audio. What I do now, this will be different depending on what software you use, is snip this here and snip it here, and I can just delete that now, and this would be the start of my video. And do 3 knocks, and then I let go of the push to talk audio recording, and there you go, and that's done. And then you just render your footage. I'm not gonna do a tutorial on that in this video because I think I've done enough, I've said enough. I hope this has been helpful. I've been wanting to do it for a while. There are so many of these though on the internet that you'll get help from somewhere if you need help, if you want to start. It's very easy to do because everything's free. This is just the way I do it. As I said, if you want to upgrade to the other Shadowplay, you know, be my guest. Just bear in mind it will be slightly different, but a lot of what I said should apply. And you can now practice without using Audacity, but if you want to use Audacity anyway, because it's easier to edit the audio in that as well, then you know how to use it, you know how to sync. So yeah, thanks for watching. Any questions, ask in the comments if anyone watches this, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.